Hey guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to share something with you that I've currently been working on. I do repairs here in the Nashville area, and a client recently brought me his 335 to do a pickup swap. And we went from the standard USA pickups you find in Gibsons. This is on his USA 335, and we put a set of throwbacks in there. So I was particularly interested to see how they would fare against a real vintage 335. So I thought this would be a fun comparison to see what they sound like and if they're better or worse, or just kind of the differences between the two. I have not yet heard these. I've installed them and plugged it in just to make sure that it works. So this will be a first for me to really hear and understand what the pickups can do. Very simple rig. We're just going into my 65 Fender Deluxe, and just because it's vintage doesn't add a factor into it. This is a clean Fender amp sound, so this is essentially the basic that I can get. Any clean Fender amp will do. My pedal board, nothing is on. We could throw some drive on later, but right now I'm just using it as a tuner. Starting out, you heard my 66 that I play all the time, and I know what that sounds like, so I thought that would be a good one to start with. Love this guitar, play it all the time. So that was on the neck pickup. Let's hear what these sound like. So this is a Gibson USA model 335. You can see it had I think a vibrola or tremolo installed on this at one point. Everything else seems to be stock. So yeah, let's hear what this neck pickup sounds like. I'll try to play relatively the same things. Really cool, great vintage low output pickups. In the room they sound pretty dang good. Very familiar to what I'm used to, so that's good. I think I measured these pickups. You can find this in the other video where I installed them. They're like 7.2, 7.3, which is pretty low. Great sounding pickups, very familiar sounds. The only two differences between these two, I'm trying to get used to again, is the wider nut width that all modern Gibsons come out with now, since that's a smaller neck. I've been used to that, and these have 10s on it. I'm using 9.5s on my 66 over here. Have to go down in size when you get hand issues, so. Let's hear these with a little bit of dirt. I'm using Providence Overdrive Stampede. I mean, you can't beat it for vintage style low output pickups. They sound fantastic. They react really great. I think there's a lot of similarities. So I think if you are wanting to upgrade your modern guitar, can't quite get a full vintage one, but you want that vintage sound, they're expensive, but I think these would be a great option for you to upgrade your guitars with. So yeah, real quick little demo. I chose not to include the factory USA 335 pickups because there's tons of videos on that and you can pick one of those up anywhere. Play test it yourself and see what you think. The differences are, I know that they're much hotter, they have more output, they sound great, but there's just that little bit of difference. These came out of a Collings, so I believe every Collings is fitted with Throbak pickups. So again, you get your very entry-level Gibson 335, still a nice guitar. Not saying entry-level is the bottom or cheapest, but you kind of get the good starter guitar, and then you have the real high dollar makers like Collings. So that's one thing you could do to upgrade and beef up your Gibson that you have is some new pickups, new wiring harness, and you'd be really good to go. I had one of these. This is actually the first Gibson that I ever owned. I sold it, but I forgot how comfortable these are to play. So if you're looking to get one of these new 335s, I think they're pretty good. So you might ask also, why did you go the vintage route when you could have just kept your USA Red 335? And the answer to that is, I don't know. I just kept buying and selling and trying new 335s, and which eventually led me to this one, which was not cheap, and I feel very grateful and fortunate to own. But yeah, there's just a feel about the vintage ones. Yeah, they sound great, but there's just something that you can't replicate, even with the new guitars that are coming out that are aged and distressed or worn. There's just something about that guitar that feels different than anything else, whereas two of these 335s might feel and sound very similar in their stock position. So something to keep in mind, that it's not all about the sound for vintage guitars, but it's just how it fits in your hand, how comfortable it is to play, because really that's what it comes down to. If it was super uncomfortable but sounding great, I don't know if I could get behind that, me personally. But anywho, wrapping this up, let me know what you think of these pickups. Are they worth the upgrade, or is there something in between that y'all favor more? Thank you so much for the client to allow me to use this guitar in a demonstration, and thank you very much for trusting me with your instrument to put these pickups in for you. Like I said, I do repair work in the Nashville area, so if you need anything, you can find me on my socials. which are all linked in my description bio here. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.